do you think this is?
This looks like dried beef or something.
Yeah, it's jerky. It's a jerky.
Yeah.
Now this is consisting of meat. From what's in this is pork and beef meat. How they did this is they grind them both together, put some spices, and then they dry it. Sometimes what they do is they put it in a dehydrator, controlled chamber, so that they can control the heat so that it dries slowly. So meat, why is it that there are so many controversies about meat? Do you ever wonder? You came from India.
Yes.
I mean, even religions would be partial about whether meat is good or meat is not good, you see. But how I see this is very different. Because really, if you get into this argument, what I can see is that we have a definition problem. That's all it is. Really, it's not a big deal. But because we did not look at the definition of words, we actually created consequence in religions. And even, I can tell you now, I was vegetarian for about 29 years, and I was married to a non-vegetarian. That to me was like very difficult. And even my kids were affected because I will create vegetarian meals for them, right? And here is the beautiful meal. And then I will cook something for my husband, my ex-husband, that is meat-based. So if, for example, my ex-husband was sitting on the other side of the table and my kids are there on the other side of the table, what happens is my kids are looking at him while he eats, as if they're telling him, why can you eat that and we can't? You see? And because I have this principle that this is good and you gotta do what I think is good. What I didn't realize is, what happened, how do I look at my husband then? You know, if that is good, this would be bad. Why am I tolerating it? You see, this is where I want to start this seminar from, because this is about good and bad, which can be resolved by just looking at definitions. I will tell you why. So, if you look at food, what is the meaning of food? Remember my speech before? What is food? Can you imagine? We even hesitate to give the meaning of food. We've been here in this world for how many years, Sushil? What about you?
I don't want to tell.
I'm here for 55 years, and I want to tell, right? In June, I will be 56. It is very interesting that we don't even know the words we talk about. Now, let's ask June Lam. What is food to you, June?
Anything eatable.
Right. What about
Nutrients for my body.
right, nutrients for my body. Now, have a look. That is nearer the real definition of food. Food actually exists to nourish our body. But have a look at the different cuisines in this world, and have a look at the different restaurants. Do they even talk about nutrition? They do a little bit now, right?
Season
Because
52.
yeah, they have the figures now. This has 120 calories. It's not nutrition though. They're still looking at food from the perspective of what people want to hear, because people are so selective because of fat. So now we got lost along the way because of that. Why? Because the definition of food from that perspective is anything eatable that will entertain me, that can also make me stay at that weight that I want to be. Correct? It's lost its meaning. Nutrition is food that can nourish my body. So, how come we are not talking about what's in this, zinc, or what is it? Immediately, what Tan said, it is processed, right? And if it's not processed and it's fresh, for example, this is fresh veggies versus veggies in the can, what is your preference, Sushil?
Fresh veggies.
Fresh veggies is so that food has lost its meaning. It's either fresh or not fresh. That's its meaning. And it's either processed or not processed rather than nourishment. What's it? I lack zinc today. What do I have to eat? That should be our first thing we go to the restaurant. That will be our first question for the waiter. Who is gonna be a dietitian, right? Well, that's what food is. So let's look at this from that perspective. Let's correct this. Now, if I correct this, that's what I can see. The waiter should be a dietitian because we get in there and we say, oh, you know what, I have a chip that can measure the nutrients in my body, and it's saying that I'm lacking zinc, potassium, and thiamine today. Can you please tell me what I can eat that has all those nutrients? And so the waiter will say, he or she has got this machine also that calculates everything, and say, oh, or maybe he can look at my chip and say, oh, you know what, that matches this thing that we have in the menu. This is for you, so that then your body will be nourished. Can you see how this is going to change the world? Can you see how this will make whatever we do today and whatever we say today as chefs, as cooks, you see, null and void? I mean, so now I'm here to enlighten you into this thing so that maybe one day we can fix this mistake and say, retake, this mistake to a point where we can have maybe that chip that just tells us what we need.
Apple. Then for the lunch, I had some Indian curry and chapati. That's the bread.
Yes,
the roti.
like naan.
Naan. Yeah.
Naan, right.
Taco.
And for dinner,
Dinner I had to have.
what? What will you have?
Maybe something.
Like
roti.
dal.
Yeah,
Roti
roti and
dal.
dal.
Did you ever think of nutrition when you
Yes,
were?
I do.
Okay. Well, what did you do? Did you do something about it?
Yeah, so I avoid any processed food most of the day unless I go out and take something from a restaurant or prepared food from some other stores. Otherwise, always we cook. I'm always vegetarian. I don't eat meat or anything. Then I do make sure always whole wheat or whole grain I eat.
Right.
But, so I try my best, but I can't say there's a zinc or magnesium, those things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. So we have an idea of what nutrition is, whether it's processed or not processed, whether it's animal meat or vegetarian meat. But we do not really know and apply the real meaning of nutrition. Because really nutrition are the ones that you don't want to think about. Zinc, magnesium,